Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So recently I came across an online photography competition by Fujifilm. The competition is called Life As You See It, and the concept behind the competition is submitting a few pictures that portray how you see life. It's a competition that doesn't really focus on your photography skills or editing skills. It mainly focuses on your vision and the concept behind the photo. I think this competition is perfect for me, someone who's starting out in photography and is, really struggling with finding the right photo to take. Photos aren't always about the technical skills, it's about the vision and the story that you want to tell. So one of the aspects of the competition is taking a photo and giving that photo a one-word title. And that title needs to fit into the sentence, life is. So life is, and then the title of your photo. So I've gone with 3 different concepts. And the 3 words I've gone with are joy, solitude, and built. So the reason why I chose the word joy to begin with is that life is a joy, and there are a lot of reasons in life to feel joy and to be happy. Now, although life isn't exactly easy, but I feel like your main focus in life is to find the things that have meaning to you and make you feel joy and make you feel happy. And the second word, solitude. So why have I chosen solitude? Life is quite a individual path. You have to walk your own path in life and create your own story. And I know as people, we love community. It's also really important to have your own individuality and really focus on what it is that you want from life and finding your purpose in life too. And the third word I've gone with is built. And built kind of plays off the second word about solitude, which is building something together. Maybe that's a community, or building a family, or just building your social network of friends. I think it's really important that although we are walking our individual paths in life, that we do find a sense of community and that we build something together that lasts forever, basically. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 3 pictures that I took, why I took them, and how I edited them as well in Lightroom. So the first concept is joy, and the picture I decided to submit is the picture of my cat, and that's just because he gives me a lot of joy in life. People have many different reasons why they feel joy in life, and mine just happens to be my cat. So when I took this picture, I really wanted to capture him smiling, also the face that he makes that makes me feel happy, and it's always when he opens his mouth and kind of screams at me. So how I edited this picture was that I wanted the feeling and the mood of this picture to be very warm. So the first thing I did was bring up the exposure, because I wanted the picture to feel a little bit brighter, and the lighting in my room isn't the best. Then I brought down the highlights a little bit because I felt like the whites were a little bit too strong. And then I took down the shadows a bit because I didn't want it to feel too dark. I turned up the vibrance and the saturation a little bit just to bring in some color, especially the pink of his mouth and the orange in his fur. And because he is the main subject in this picture, I wanted to bring down the exposure of the surrounding area, and how I did that was use a mask. So here I used a little radial mask here, as you can see, and I inverted it. And all I did was bring down the exposure just a little bit, as you can see, and that just helps darken the outside areas, and I'll just show you how that kind of affects the picture. So just a little bit, and the main focus is now on him. So that's the first picture, joy. And here's a quick before and after. So this is the raw file. As you can see, the colors aren't there and it wasn't that bright. And here you can see how I brought back the colors in his mouth and in his fur. And you can see the little radial mask creating this little darkness around him and more brightness in his face. So the second concept is solitude, and when I was out and about in London, I really wanted to find a picture of someone working hard by themselves, and I stumbled across this little window here with someone working in the kitchen. Now, although he wasn't working alone, I managed to get a shot of him by himself, and at the same time I really wanted to take a picture where you are standing in a darker area and taking a picture in a brighter area, because it creates this really nice mood. So it creates this really nice contrast in light when you're standing in a darker area and the subject is in a brighter area. And at the same time, I really wanted to add a frame to my picture, and this window fit perfectly because outside was dark and inside was bright. It basically ticked all the boxes that I wanted to hit. Now in Lightroom, I didn't actually make too many adjustments. I increased the exposure just a little bit because, you know, it was dark outside, and I increased the contrast just a little bit. I really wanted to keep the colors muted and have the viewers focus more on the difference in light, and having the frame just create this scene, this story of someone working hard by himself. And now one cool thing about Lightroom is that I've actually transformed this image to make it seem flat because I'm not that tall, and when I took the picture I was actually lower than the window. And one cool thing about Lightroom, you can use transform to adjust the straight lines in your photo. So you can see here, if I turn it off, I'm actually shooting from a lower and a diagonal angle, but as soon as I click auto, it seems like I'm facing straight into the window, and it just makes the composition so much better. And just to quickly show you, this is the before and after. You know, I didn't do too much to the colors. I did add a little color here by just increasing the vibrancy and the saturation ever so slightly, and I just wanted to keep the contrast from the outside and the inside. Okay, for the final photo, built. When I was walking around London, there happened to be this football match that was going on. I think I'm not really a football fan, but there was a lot of police around, and I'm assuming that's just to stop any rioting between the two teams. And this created a really cool atmosphere. You know, it felt kind of nerve-wracking because you see a lot of police around, but at the same time people are celebrating because of the football match. And as I watched these people, you know, the fans were interacting with the police, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively, but I felt like that created a great sense of community, and also how police in general are here to protect the community. So in this photo you can see there are some police officers that are, you know, serious, they're doing their job, they're on guard, and others who are laughing and enjoying their time outside, I guess. And I felt like this created a really cool picture, but at the same time it was also slightly intimidating because they're all geared up and I guess ready to stop any riots if any riots occurred. Now for this picture I went black and white because one, I just wanted to try a black and white photo, and number two, because I didn't really like how brightly colored their jackets were, and I can show you that later when I do a before and after. So here I just turned it black and white. I decreased the exposure just a little bit because when I turned it black and white it felt a little bit too bright. I brought down the highlights a bit because in the sky it was really white, and I just wanted to bring back a little bit of detail of the clouds, which you can kind of see a little bit here. I increased the blacks just a little bit because I wanted to be able to see the details in their uniform, because their uniforms are quite dark and I didn't want it to be completely black. I wanted you to be able to see some of the crinkles in their jackets. So this photo didn't really have much editing. It was mainly just turning it black and white and just making sure like the highlights weren't too high, well, what's the word, too bright, and then the blacks weren't too dark. And then here's a before and after. Although when I look at them side by side, this picture is still pretty cool in color. You know, I could have toned down the yellows instead, but I don't know, I just really enjoyed having it in black and white. Just felt like it created this really cool atmosphere. And yeah, and these are the pictures I submitted. So all of the photos were taken with the same lens, and the lens I used was the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 with a Sony A7III camera. So overall, I didn't actually spend too much time taking pictures or editing them. I kind of really wanted to just focus on the concept behind the photo and exactly what I wanted to take. So although this is like my first attempt at any photography competition, I don't expect to win it, but I feel like just, you know, participating and having a go is a great way to practice photography and just get used to just taking pictures and having fun with the camera. So like I said at the beginning, I am a beginner. Don't hate me in the comments about how I edited pictures and what you would have done differently, but I am open to any sort of constructive criticism and any tips that you might have. So I'm still learning Lightroom and I'm still trying to figure out my style, but I think, you know, when it comes to photography, as long as you like what you see and you're able to portray what you want others to see, you know, I think that's success in itself. And I'll keep learning and I'll keep trying. And I hope you enjoyed the journey. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Who's a good boy? Who's a good